What's going on, everybody? Apollo from 101 on Arsenal YouTube channel here. And I just want to say welcome to all of you West Ham fans. It's West Ham Arsenal at 8 o'clock on Saturday. It's a late one, but it is what it is. But it's a kind of a mix between two teams here. West Ham coming off a loss last week and still don't know where the goals are going to be coming from. Arsenal coming back off a fantastic back end of last season with wins against City, Chelsea in the final. They've beaten Liverpool twice now, and literally and the Wolves game as well. And they started off like a bat out of hell last week, beating Fulham 3-0. And obviously, the captain now has signed a 3-year deal. The team is buzzing. And they're buzzing because of a few different things. The makeup has completely been improved month on month, week on week. Last week, we saw two things we didn't really see from the team. We saw some ball winning capability from El Nene in the midfield, winning 5 duels. We saw six-headed clearances from Gabriel and 4 duels won on the floor. So people couldn't go past him on the floor. He was shutting them down, winning 56% of his duels. And then he was dominating the air when Fulham tried to play the long ball over. In the midfield, Willian was a big, big, big difference. That link between the midfield to the forwards, which we've been so lacking over the last year, he provided nearly 3 assists in that game. And look, he's just going to fill in there and do a job professionally. And it's kind of the reason why Pepe didn't start. You got a £72 million guy who's now on the bench, but he's really there to just take a look at Willian and see what Willian is doing and then to try to follow that model. That's really the template. Remember, Pepe's 24, Williams 32. So there's a big difference between the two. And look, guys, seriously, when you think about it, it's a real mix and improvement from what we had from last year. Last year, we wasn't a very good team in possession. Yeah, in the midfield, playing those quick passes, creating space, and trying to keep tight. We were still in a position where certain times it wasn't going well. Even when we beat Liverpool 2-1 in the league, we weren't playing great at all. And that's kind of changed this season. This season, they're more fluid, they're more poised on the ball, they're better going past players as well. So we're going to continue to see that improvement. How's it going to affect our lineup? We're probably going to go like this. We're going to go Leno in goal. We're going to go with a back three again of Holding, Gabriel, and Tierney. And I say that because David Luiz, who had a neck injury, which we feared was going to be around 4 to 6 weeks, he's actually now back in training. So he'll be on the bench if he doesn't start. And I don't think you should start him for someone who had that kind of a scare. I think you kind of leave him. Liverpool's coming up after this, and I think they're a bigger fish to fry. So I think you rest Luiz. And also, Pablo Mari's back in training next week as well. So, the back line is starting to build up somewhat, and there's always William Saliba as well. So I wouldn't really rush too many players in there. Where I would rush players is in the midfield. So we have Bellerin, right wing back. We had last week El Nene, who was boss, but I think you've got to give Ceballos a start. That tandem of Ceballos and Xhaka was played last year in some of the best games that we had. And at some point, you've got to try and take a look at that and see what that looks like. I don't mind if El Nene starts again, because to me, he actually played better than Xhaka. And but I would like to actually go with a combination of Ceballos and El Nene in the midfield and see what that looks like. So, I'd love to see that. On the right, on the left, we're going to be going with Maitland-Niles. And up front is where you're going to see Aubameyang on the left. You're going to see Willian on the right. I would like to see Nketiah in the middle. I just think he offers you a lot more defensively as well. I think he has better movement and defensive aptitude. But they're probably going to go with Lacazette because Lacazette's banging in the goals at the moment. And as long as he's doing that, you have to keep playing the guy. But I'm going for a 3-0 win for Arsenal, guys. And realistically, as I said, we're seeing a difference in the way that the ball movement is. The manager, it seems like we're just playing out of understanding how the system works now. We've been more progressive in our play rather than a new system coming in and then you're being reactive to what's going on around you. Arsenal doesn't seem to be reactive anymore. And that's what happens. Look, Liverpool, Man United, City, all these teams have played together for a very long time, including West Ham. And Arsenal, you put all these new pieces in, and a new manager who's only been there half a season, and it still takes them a little bit of time to find their feet. And I think Arsenal are now sort of going over that hill where they're trying to see what's happening on the other side, where they're starting to look a lot more fluid and better in possession. So I'm going for a 3-0 win. Let me know what you guys think, man. But that's my prediction. Like to hear what you guys think. Apollo, and I'm out. Peace. Right back at you.
Hi guys, welcome to Poles Apart, West Ham Arsenal. Big game, big derby game. Ask me how confident I am. Jesus Christ. It's not looking good, is it, West Ham, really? As I've made this, there's been no signings for the club. So Arsenal strengthened their squad. I mean, they've gone out and got Willian, who I think is a phenomenal player, always causes us problems. They've gone out and got Gabriel. Looks a defender and half him, you know, and he's going to go on to really big things, I think. So they've done really well in terms of their strengthening. It's a difficult one to predict a positive outcome for West Ham, really. I see us getting beat. I do, you know, and I don't like saying that. I see us getting beat. It all depends, though, on the team. Again, you know, what West Ham turns up. If it's West Ham that turns up for Newcastle, we're getting hammered. Pardon the pun, but we are getting hammered because their forward line looks like it's on it. You know, you've got Aubameyang, you've got Lacazette, you've got Willian, you've got Pepe to come off the bench, do you know what I mean, if they need. Or even if he starts and you've got one of the others to come off. You've got Saka, who looks an incredible player. You know, so it's going to be extremely difficult. I think West Ham, we need to play 5 at the back for this one. I've always said against your bigger clubs, you know, like you say your top 6 clubs. I think West Ham should be playing 5 at the back. You know, play 3 defenders, wing back system. You know, but have your wing backs sitting a little bit further back and just get. You'd have to go with Masuaku on the left and probably Fredericks on the right. You know, so you can get that pace to go up and down the pitch. You know, it's just then comes a question: have they got the engine to do it for 90 minutes? Nobes, I absolutely love him, and I always think he should be involved in a derby game. But if Arsenal counter-attack, they're far too quick, and then Nobes he'll hinder us, you know, in this game. But it's going to come down to, for us, in terms of the result, which West Ham turns up. So if it turns up like we do in the derby games against Chelsea, Tottenham, like we can do in United when we pull out them big results, will Arsenal be our big result? I think it's going to have to be when you look at the other games that follow it. You know, we've got a daunting October, and the last thing you want to do, we lost to Newcastle, we lose to Arsenal, you know, that's it. And if we lose badly, that sets the precedent then for a very, very difficult season. It's hard to come back from it. But I think the midfield is key here, because we know exactly what their front line is going to do. They're going to run at us, and they're going to run us ragged. So Fabianski needs to have the game of his life. He needs to have a game like Rob Green did against them. When we come first team to beat him at the Emirates. That's the type of game we need from Fabianski, and we need that midfield on point for 90 minutes. Don't let up. Same with the defence, you know, because I think once you've got that defence and that midfield done, you look at the forward line. If we play Haller, Antonio and Bowen up top, which I don't think we will. If we played 5 at the back, do you know what I mean? We're only going to have 2 up top. So at a push, you know, it could be a 5-4-1. Do you know what I mean? Then again, Moyes might be stubborn and do the 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. But if we play Haller, Antonio and Bowen, even though Gabriel looks a player, you know, we can still get at that defence. We can still get at it, and we can sneak a goal. We can sneak a little 1-0, you know. But my opinion, the the end of the day, you're going to win, lose or draw, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? The scenarios, but I don't think it'll be a draw. I don't think it'll be a draw. We'll either sneak a 1-0 win or we'll get tonked 4 or 5. You know, that's my opinion. Because even with the defence, if they're on it, if our defence, you know, they're up for it, they've got to concentrate for 90 minutes, and you've got Lacazette, you've got Aubameyang, you've got Willian, you've got Pepe, you've got other players like Saka and that who can play there, who can actually do some damage, you know, so to come off the bench and do that, you know. So when you're tired, the last thing you want to do is see someone like Nicolas Pepe come on, who's got the pace and the skill to just torture, do you know what I mean? And I think, again, Cress is somebody, he can't play that game. He cannot play that. Masuaku can't really play that game. I'll be tempted to put Johnson at left back and do Fredericks right back if it was me. But we'll have to see. But we need a win. And I think even though the fans aren't in the ground, you know, for the fans, we need it to be this derby. We've lost Newcastle. We have to get this. We have to get this result. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very long season. And if he's still at the club by the time, because I made this video a little bit early, if he is still at the club and there's been no bids in, Rice needs to have a good game as well. You know, because I think he'll go this window. And if we don't get a decent result against Arsenal, Chelsea comes in late in the window, takes him off us. We don't have time to replace him. And that's where then I think we could end up getting relegated. But I want to stay positive. As much as miserable as I sound right now, I want to stay positive. So I'm going to go 1-0 win. Antonio the scorer. That's my faults. Probably got a lot of Arsenal fans, if they're watching this, probably laughing right now. But what can you do? You know, you've got to try and be positive for the club. You know, as much as you hate your owners and you hate your board, you know, you've got to be behind the team, not the regime, as they say. So that's my thoughts. Love to hear yours. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Hammers Poll, and yeah, feel free to drop me a comment. You know, follow me on Twitter. Get me on Twitter at Andy Gunning. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. You know, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, I'm all about a debate. I love one. You know, and I love to argue with the best of people. So, you know, in a nice way, of course. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts. Take care.
For West Ham fans everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. Never miss a thing with the latest West Ham news, gossip and social stories as they break. Download the free COY Irons app now from the App Store and Google Play.